don't know what to add in the
Crazy,
front
we're
of this.
live.
Really? Hello, everybody, and welcome. Wait, what? And welcome to another episode of Xbox International Podcast. Hey, guys! Today we have an amazing show with an awesome guest, which he is a lawyer. He is known also as the fake. What happened, Sarah?
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm not. I'm super happy.
He's nervous.
Why would I be
Oh,
nervous,
so
man?
he's
No,
so nervous.
never. No, I'm not, man. I'm actually chill. Like always, I'm always chilled. He is also known as the Fake Insider. He has played competitive Call of Duty. He also was a pro tennis player, which we have facts that he beat Anna Kournikova in a match. He
No.
swings like Tiger Woods. He's more. What? That's true. That's not true. You never play Anna Kournikova? What? Oh, I thought you played Anna Kournikova. But anyways, he swings like Tiger Woods, has more info than LeBron James points. He is Todd Howard's son, Mr. Ecstasies. How are you doing, sir? Welcome to Xbox International, brother. All right. Awesome, man. I'm happy to have you here. We are happy to have you here. And speaking of which, Sourblow on the screen. I don't see our dear guest here. What happened? You
Oh,
gotta
wait,
check that out on
really?
YouTube. Yes, you gotta check that out, buddy. Hurry
Oh.
up. Oh. Sorry, chat. Give us a second. We're gonna fix this up. But anyways, Plume, how are you doing today, sir? Welcome back. I know you have been busy.
I'm doing great. I've gone through some of my backlog, so that feels good. I've been making lots of videos, lots to talk about. So excited to get on with this show and talk about all the stuff we have in the notes. It's going to be a good one. So let's get into it.
All right. And finally, our captain is back. So that means that no more la versión sexy gorda de Henry Cavill will be doing, the captain seats, man. Oh man, I'm gonna miss all that. But Captain, man, welcome back. We have missed you, brother. How have you been? And tell us about your adventure. I know you've been busy, but please tell us what you've been doing, sir, and how are you?
Crazy, you knew that eventually I had to come back and take the seat from you.
I
So
know.
So it's time. That time has come. No, I'm excited. It's obviously been a while. I've missed you all. Everyone in chat too. I see people popping off in there. It's great to be back. It's been pretty chaotic. I feel like between work, sickness, just a combination of fun life things, it's held me back for a little bit. But I am back now, and I am stoked to get in here, and I'm super stoked to have this awesome guest. It's awesome to have Ecstasies with us. So hang on. Hopefully we don't have too much turbulence caused by Lui. And we'll get through this thing. Let's do it.
By me, man, I never caused one turbulence. Did I, Sourblow? I behave good. Didn't I?
Not really, but
Not really, man. Not really. I've always behaved good. But anyway, Sourblow, tell everybody how you been doing, sir.
I've been fine. I've been working hard and some stuff behind the scene, and super excited to have Ecstasy. We've been going back and forth talking about gaming, and we even played some Halo the other day. So he's pretty good at Halo too.
Yeah. No,
Eh,
not
eh,
really.
eh,
Average play.
Wait.
Average.
Let's fix this up right now. Everybody's better than you in Halo, Sourblow. Let's do this clear.
No, he doesn't play bad.
He doesn't play bad. Oh,
There were worse players than him.
nah. That's the son that plays. Trust me. We have
were a lot of players, and there were worse players than him. So
really.
I have to break a lance for him.
Sourblow. Tell us, was that your son playing that day? Because you always say it's you, but it's your son though.
Oh. My son would have been playing. He would have been in first place.
What? Oh, you guys
My
came.
son,
Sorry,
well,
your audio
You're-
is sound. You're
All right, did you put your robot voice on? What
Yeah,
happened?
You're roboting on me.
No robot
Yeah,
voice.
his robot sounded. I don't know. He got a bad lag. Sourblow, check that lagging. Check that antenna. Check that antenna. We'll come back to you, sir. Boom. Tell everybody what you've been playing, sir.
So, last time I was on, I was telling you I was going through my backlog. I finished Fire Emblem Engage. I finished Atomic Heart. Now I'm back on Hogwarts Legacy, and I also jumped into Resident Evil 4. So it's been just so many good games this year that have come out. So everything I'm playing right now is just amazing. So really getting into Resident Evil 4 and just going through and finishing up Hogwarts Legacy.
All right, all right, all right. And let's ask our guest what he has been playing apart beating Sourblow and Halo. What have you been playing, Ecstasies?
I've been playing Resident Evil 4 because it was the launch of the week. And I finished on Nintendo Switch Bayonetta 3, and now I'm playing Link's Awakening. And now, since yesterday, I'm playing MLB The Show. I've played like 14 hours in 1.5 days. So it's like a hard drag for me. It's a hard drag for me, the MLB The Show 23. Good
Really,
game.
that's awesome. That's awesome, man. I did not know you love Nintendo because you know what? We have a Nintendo fan here.
We have two Nintendo fans here.
Yeah, two
I'm
Nintendo
back.
fans.
I'm back on Nintendo
One
now.
bigger than the other.
Yeah,
Silent's probably the bigger one.
yeah.
I don't-
You know, I don't like to brag or anything, but you know,
I don't play Nintendo now, but I wasn't playing Nintendo the last years, but I'm back and playing Metroid, some backlog games that I want to play. It's fine. I'm not a Nintendo fan.
Oh, really? Oh,
Just a
but-
Nintendo player.
All right, all right. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And speak about Nintendo player, Silent Cypher, man. What have you been playing? We know you love Nintendo, and I hope it's been Nintendo you've been playing lately.
yeah. Well, you know, I've been playing a bunch of Yoshi, and been playing some Kirby.
Don't
Ness,
listen to Lou. Don't
Ness.
listen
I've
to
been
Lou.
playing with
Seriously, what have
Ness.
you been playing?
No. In all seriousness, I haven't gotten to play much recently, but I did jump back into Grand Theft Auto 5 because I never played that once they ended up doing the Series X, Series S upgrade, and that game, every time, like I know I'm the problem because I keep getting this thing every time they release it, but it plays so good. And it looks really good. Like I love going back to that universe. The characters and everything, they're just ridiculous. And it's always fun to go back to that. So that's kind of been my comfort food recently. Yeah, that's been about it, honestly, unfortunately.
Nice. Let me. Sourblow, are you good over there? Because I heard like your sound was like coming from one side, but are you good, bro?
Let me know. Do I sound better now, or
You sound like
yes,
your
yeah.
sound. I guess
You're
yeah,
just
but
coming in one
you're
ear.
just coming in one ear. You know, I thought I was. Yeah. Go fix that sound. But either way, but you're doing that, let me just tell everybody what I've been playing. Well, guys, I've been playing some scary freaking games lately. I mean, I played Summer 58, where everybody watched me and was laughing at me. You know, oh my God, that was the scariest game I played. And also, I've been playing, what's this other game I've been playing? Oh, man. Call of Duty.
I saw you playing that shark game.
Oh man, that shark game. Oh my God, Death in the Water. I hate those sharks, man. And yesterday, those sharks kicked my butt. I mean, literally, I never been eating so much by so many sharks. It's like 20 sharks come at you, and you got like this harpoon, and you know you're trying to like shoot them with it. Sometimes you miss, sometimes you get them. I don't get it. How many harpoon sharks can a shark get? Dang, I mean, I shot him like 10 times, doesn't die. Even in the face, the eye, everywhere. Man, that's a hard game. And anyways, I was like, oh, let me level up this cool, like little gun.
I saw
It
you
was-
quit, but
No, I didn't quit though. You know, I played already for like 2 hours and a half, and my hand was hurting because man, you know, all that dodging those sharks was driving me nuts. But I upgraded like this cool grenade little thing that it, like blew up the sharks and I almost shooting them and it didn't do nothing. So I was like, what? That grenade thing should blow up. Nothing. I was like, man, I bought the worst weapon in the game. But that's what happens to me for believing that explosives do something to sharks underwater. That's right. But yeah, and other than that, I've been playing this other game. It's called Devil's Island from Never Say Never, and he gave me an actual opportunity to try it out on Sunday. And my God, I'll tell you something. There's something special about that game that I really actually enjoyed. I mean, I sat here, played it for like I think it was 2 hours, and man, that game is pretty cool. It hasn't come out yet. It's still in what's it called, alpha mode, I think it is, beta. And man, he's got to fix a couple things, but yeah, the game was. I loved it. I loved it. Even it's simple, easy. You get into it. The plot is like something weird came to Earth, but man, it's fantastic. Really, I just can't wait to see more about it until he gives me more access to play some more stuff. But yes, now let's jump into Sourblow because I think did you fix your issue, Sourblow? Can you say hello real quick?
Hello,
You're
everyone.
you're still
Can
on
you
one
hear me?
side, but yeah, I think everybody can hear you though. But yes, go ahead, Sour, and tell everybody what you're playing. After that, you gotta fix your issue. Go for it, brother.
Okay, well, I've been playing a little bit of everything. I've been playing. I went back into Max Payne, and I played like the first three levels, and you know, it's a joy to go back to a game. An old game like that. Even though the controls, like the camera, like it's kind of like weird going back to it, but it's enjoyable. I'm playing Fable 2 with my son, so in the weekends I play a little bit of that. I have played some Halo, like I mentioned, with my Puerto Rican friends. There are a bunch of them, and they're super cool. And I'm also playing Metro. I beat Metro 1 and 2, and then I kind of started Metro and I dropped it for Atomic Heart, but now I went back to it and I'm really enjoying Metro Exodus.
Really? The
Yeah.
anime show because I heard a lot of people like I don't know why they say like it gets like and like half the way. But is it to be? Tell me the truth though. Out of the first two, is this one better?
Well, I have to finish it still, but the difference with this one is kind of like you can say it's kind of like open world a little bit. The other one were more like linear, so it's more it's a big difference. To be honest, I would have preferred probably that they stayed the linear way, but I'm still enjoying it up to right now. And there was like a big plot twist that I thought was super cool, and that caught me like by surprise. Like I was expecting something like that, but not that exactly, without giving any spoilers. But when I got to it, I was like, "Oh, this is cool!" Like wow. But I'm enjoying it. Hopefully this weekend I get more chance to play, and I'll
Really?
probably beat it by this week.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. I mean, I got to sit down and beat that shark game. I'll probably sit down tomorrow, cross fingers, and get on to playing with Crazy and try to beat that game because really, I want to get done with the shark game so I can jump to Resident Evil 4 because really that Resident Evil 4, man, I turned it on a little bit, and played a little bit through it on PC because man, I gotta get adjusted. Playing a third person view game on PC is kind of hard, but yes, I'm gonna manage it. And I think I'm gonna go through it so people can watch me and enjoy me watch, get scared and jump like people do because I don't get it. People laugh at me at that, and I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, but anyways, Sour, give us that flight itinerary, bro, of today's show.
Okay, I'm gonna fly quickly through it. Hopefully you can hear me on both sides now.
No.
We're
Not
gonna
yet.
talk.
Not
Not
yet. Not
yet.
yet. Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, we're gonna talk. We're gonna have some opening topics. We're gonna talk a lot about a lot of different little stories on Forza Horizon 5, of course. But I do want to get into today the big topic. We're gonna talk about the FTC, and I think we have the perfect guest to talk about it. He has a lot of information. And then if we have time, we're also going to talk about how Xbox has been expanding and has been helping developers around the world. Well, those are the main topics, but we're going to talk about many other little things like that. So I'm going to pass it to our captain for the in-flight announcement. Oh, before I pass it to the captain, Ecstasy, this podcast, we theme it around like we go on a flight. So
Yeah.
you're gonna see a few things that are
Okay, okay.
around that. So
I'm ready to see.
Captain,
Sour, didn't you want to go over the time capsule first?
the time capsule.
Mm. Mm.
No, you know what? Do the in-flight announcement first, and then we'll go to the questions.
Okay, well, give me 1 second then.
All right. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about drinking water. Drinking water is really important, especially for heat. While our captain puts on his gear, you gotta drink water because it's super hot outside. So yes, please drink a lot of water. And if you're here on the show, please have a beer with us because we allow drinking on this flight. Have a lot of beer, and enjoy the show.
Crazy.
What's up?
What are you doing? He's
Crazy.
gonna do
I
the
don't,
flight announcement.
Crazy.
Oh,
There's snow outside. It's not hot. I don't know what you're talking about.
Crazy.
Sorry guys.
I want to see how fast you're gonna do. You're gonna shout out the chat today, the passengers, because
Oh dear lord.
This is going to be a fun one.
Oh, wait, how many people are here? 50. What? Oh dear lord.
we probably got like double the amount we get.
Oh, oh lordy. How am I gonna do this? But okay, I'll try to do it.
All right. Well, I'll give you a second to catch your breath and get ready for that. But,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, Sour has turned on the subscribe button. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Please stow your food and beverages next to your desk, underneath your seat, or in front of you. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. Also, make sure you've hit that notification bell. We gently remind you that smoking and drinking are not prohibited on this flight. However, slipping nervously all over the intro is strictly prohibited. We're looking at you, Crazy. If you have any questions about today's flight, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight panelists. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're gonna do some security screening real quick. We have a guest, but we cannot let him go in the flight, immediately. We gotta do some checking with him. So real quick, we got two important questions. The first one would be the time capsule question. So Constellation has chosen you to pick 3 games that will go into space in a time capsule as a mean to introducing other life form to our planet. What 3 games would you choose, and why would you choose these 3 games?
I think it's obviously a personal choice. And first place I will choose Skyrim, because it's like the mecca of the open worlds for me. It's like the live in a game. You can live in a game, because I understand if I go to Constellation, I can't play online. So playing single player, I think Skyrim, sorry, it's like the biggest representation on an open living world nowadays. I don't know if Xbox and other studios are working on huge games, but right now Starfield is Skyrim. I'm crazy with Starfield. Sorry,
It's coming.
Skyrim. It's like the best one. And another 2, I think I will choose some for sports, maybe NBA, FIFA, a sports game, because it's a good game to play with other people that it's going to know video games. I think it's a good entrance to video game, any sport game. And if I have to choose a 3rd game, I will choose something like Wasteland or Pillars of Eternity, on some kind of CRPG, because it's my favorite genre. So that's why. That's 3 games, I think. I think being specific, Wasteland 3, the last FIFA, and Skyrim.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And you got some nice takes because like you said, Skyrim represents like a live world, and then you have a sport game that not only showcase like playing together and all that, but it also showcase something that we do on Earth. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. Okay, so our next question would be, this is a hypothetical question. So
Yeah, I know.
you're in a flight, and you decide to sleep for the duration of the trip. When you wake up, it could be Phil Spencer or, your gaming idol, someone that you admire, is sitting next to you. You only have 2 to 3 minutes to introduce yourself. Give us your elevator pitch on who you are and where they can find you.
I think that I would say hello, nice to meet you. I'm Alvaro. I'm from Spain and a huge fan of Xbox. And I think I would I would explain my admiration and my appreciation of his job more than try to introduce myself or say I'm
Sorry to interrupt you, real quick. One question though: would it be Phil Spencer, or will
Phil
you?
Spencer or Todd Howard or Hideo Kojima. I don't care. One
But
of those
if
three.
you have to choose one, who would it be?
Okay, I choose Todd Howard. Somehow,
I
whatever.
kind of, I kind of, I think the picture gives
Somehow,
it away in the back.
It was an easy question, but I think I will take more time to talk about his job, interesting questions like more personal questions about his job, what is he doing, ideas, inspiration, and all that stuff. More than try to say, "Hey, keep attention on me. I'm a YouTuber. I want to be famous. Please come to my channel," or all that stuff. I think I have more interest on know about him than he knows about me. That's why I think. But if I have to talk about me, just saying, I'm a huge fan. I've played your game since I was very, very young. And I have a YouTube channel. If you are interested, you can visit that. Just that. And the rest of the time, talk about him.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Now, crazy. How fast can you shout out the chat? If you don't do it fast enough, we're throwing you on if we're throwing you off the plane with no parachute.
What? You throw me off the plane?
Do we have a timeout set up for him yet?
No, we don't.
Actually, there is a timeout.
No, we don't.
Technically, there is.
What I mean, technically there is, man. What you guys tell me? I mean, that's. I don't know how the heck am I gonna do this, but you want me to do it fast and easy?
Yes. Let's see.
45 people in the chat. What's up? There you go. I just did it. I was supposed
No, that's no.
Okay.
Don't be a quitter, crazy.
I know. I'm just kidding. Let's start by saying hello, Cammy. How are you doing, Mr. Dark? Mr. Dark wanted to ask you, Mr. Ecstasy, what do you think of Resident Evil Code Veronica? Real fast, answer that before we go down the list.
I can't answer your question because I played Resident Evil Code Veronica because when I was very, 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 very young and I don't remember nothing. And I don't like horror games because I think I have psychological problems about the horror game because I have to stop and I can't. It's so hard for me. I have to play horror games while I am talking with someone.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
If not,
I
I can't.
guess.
I would
Okay.
translate that. Basically, no one cares, Joanna Dark, about your Code Veronica.
Yes, 100%. That was a nice way of saying it.
We just
You guys
mess
are-
with him all the
you-
time.
That's so be poor dark. Hello to Son Hermano 5. Welcome, Aiden. Hello, Set 4. Kino, I already said Aiden, right? Oh, Aiden, my bad. Aiden. Steven already said hello to Kino. Simon's channel. What's up, Simon's channel? Welcome. Keep going down the list. That's a lot of names, guys. I'm gonna get lost. I mean, I get lost by myself. Imagine that. I even get lost in my own room. Reading all these names, I'm gonna get super lost.
I'll give you a chance to just
Okay,
thank you everyone in the chat.
All right, thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Because really going down this to saying what's up to everybody is gonna make me nuts. But hey, welcome to Xbox International. Please enjoy the show and let's have some fun. Captain, take it away.
All right. Yeah. So we're going to jump right into it. One of the topics that we're going to go on to today is the fact that Microsoft has now ended the Game Pass dollar deal. I mean, I figure for anyone here, right? Like we figured it was coming eventually, right? Like it was bound to happen eventually that they were going to have to shift away from that. It was a great deal for everyone that got into it. But eventually, like, you can't keep just giving a service away for next to nothing, right? Like, eventually you want to make some money off of your business. And I think with everything that's in there nowadays, I would say, like, even at regular price, it perfectly justifies the cost, right? Crazy, Plume, Sour, Ecstasies. Do any of you feel like this is a negative thing? Like, honestly, I think at this point, I think they've had plenty of time to get people in. I think they've gotten them comfortable with what offerings there are. Do you think this was a good time for it, or do you think this was too soon to shift to regular pricing? We'll start with Ecstasies on this.
Okay. In my opinion, personal opinion, of course, I think it's soon because you have to continue with your captation, but I've been reading that we have problems with the stock of Xbox Series X in USA. I don't know what's happening on that way, and I don't know if they think that, like you said, they are comfortable with the number of subscriptions, and now they are going to make an organic growth and stop the captation plan. But yeah, you have huge games this year. You can have that organic growth with Redfall, Starfield, maybe Activision, Blizzard King, all that stuff could be great additions for Game Pass. I think we are all agree that we are in the best year of Game Pass. We have every month very good games, maybe the best games of the month, with some exceptions like Hogwarts Legacy or Resident Evil 4, but Wolong, Atomic Heart, Hyper Rush, they are huge games, and you can have that organic growth. But if you don't have consoles, you stop the promotions. I don't know what's happening, but I don't want to be negative. For me, it's not a negative new, but not a good new, just average.
Yeah,
A promotion ended, and they will start a new promotion whenever.
yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing them bundling into the actual console deals, right? Because we haven't really seen much of that yet. You've seen a month here, a month there, stuff like that, but it would not surprise me if, like, we started seeing some of those deals hit. I don't know if they would do it with Starfield, but I bet you there are some bundles that'll come out where they're offering 6 months, maybe a year. That would not surprise me by any means. I do agree with you. I do think, like, in a way, maybe it was a little bit too early just going into the year that they do have, right? Like, if you went into it and you got one or two launches ahead of you before you pulled the plug on the $1 deal, maybe you get more impulse buyers before you pull that, right? So yeah, I definitely see that aspect as well. Plume, you look deep in thought. What do you think, man?
I'm always deep in thought. No, I think it's been, they launched it, I think 2017, the $1 deal. Everyone knows that this isn't going to last forever. It's a $1 deal. One of the main things I think that they pulled it was because of all the abuse that was going on with it, with like the people using the gold and upgrading and getting all these months free of Xbox Game Pass. But is it too early? I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like we're at this point now where Game Pass has established itself. There's so many great games in there that the people that want to sign up to play Game Pass are going to go and they're going to sign up. They don't need to be lured in by the $1. And I think also, like Ecstasies was saying, it's the best year that we've seen so far with Game Pass. And there's still Starfield and Redfall and Forza Motorsport, all of these huge first-party games that are going to be launching. I feel like they're looking at this and they're thinking they don't really need that marketing promotion of $1 to lure people in to sign up to Game Pass, and they want to get people who are gonna just sign up for 1 month to play Starfield or whatever, or just to sign up onto the regular Game Pass thing. And then on top of that, I feel like they're going to be releasing that family plan soon, which may be something as to why they got rid of the $1 deal too, to try to get people to just be focusing on signing up. I think from what we understand, based on other prices around the world, it's going to be about $25 in the US. So that's an incredible deal alone. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine. Honestly, I think it's fine. I think it was coming and it should be expected. They're going to take that away eventually.
Yeah, it might also be good timing if you take that away. The fact that, like, if you're bringing the family plan, like you mentioned, right, you don't want to muddy the waters for people to understand, like, what they're paying into the services.
Yeah.
And so if you still have that $1 deal, but you're like, oh, no, that only accounts for this specific version of it, maybe they view that as, like, it could cause issue with the communication and trying to explain, like, what you're actually paying for those specific services, which ones are compatible with that $1 deal, stuff like that. Maybe it clears the communication and clears the message a little bit.
Yeah.
But crazy. What's your thought on this? What do you think? Was it too soon? Do you think it's like the perfect time? Would you give it a couple more years? What are your thoughts?
I'm just sad, man. I'm just sad. I'm real sad because now it's another narrative that takes away from the PlayStation fanboys, man. That just depresses me. The whole dollar deal that just really depresses me. I mean, I'm gonna miss those memories. But hey, kidding around, guys. Yes, it's about time to take that thing away because really, 6 years has been so long. And now, since they're gonna up the ante, they're gonna add games, which we know in May. I mean, we're getting that Redfall, baby. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that Redfall. We're also getting Starfield super soon. We're getting Forza. Probably, hope they announce it real soon this year. But yes, we're gonna get so much games, so much stuff, and man, yeah, it's time just to take it away. Not only that, they're gonna come out with that family plan pretty soon, which is actually a freaking good deal. I mean, that family plan, what was it? $25 for 5 people to each to
Yeah.
have Game Pass. So, hey, man, that's a lot better. So yeah, I'm really happy. It's time. It was time for them to go. It was time for that dollar to go and
I,
continue.
honestly, like when you talk about when both you and Plume both mentioned, right, like the $25 deal for the family pass. I I mean, I'm sure that, like the single offering is going to be provided as time goes on, but I wonder honestly, like I would imagine this is inevitably going to cannibalize that single subscription, like hands down, right? Because the
Yeah.
idea that you can get together with one other person to make up that cost and actually exceed that cost, like that's just pure common dollars and cents. Like it makes so much sense to find someone, whether it be your brother, whether it be, a cousin or something. Their restrictions for allowing that stuff are pretty slim. I think the only
Yeah.
big restriction they had was it has to be within the same it has to be within the same country as you, right? So that gives you a lot of leeway to make sure that you're getting your family all included on that, and maybe a friend or two.
Yeah.
And not only that, I mean, if you sit down and you do the numbers, right? I mean, for example, last year Game Pass gave 220 games, and let's say those games cost $70, right? I mean, if you multiply that by 220, that we're talking about more than $15,000 worth of games right there. I'm not kidding you. That's a lot of money. So by you paying 180, you got to enjoy more than $50,000 worth of games. Uh, that's
It's
actually
Yeah.
it's
it's
nice.
it's nuts. Like I don't care how people try and spin the narrative, no matter what. Like if you look at that as a common consumer and you look at that list, you look at that dollar value, it's really hard to throw a fit about that. And I mean, like I get it, there's plenty of narratives out there, but like as a consumer, right, like I don't necessarily care how they make the money as long as I get the best deal. That's what competition is. Every time that these guys go back and forth, like Sony gets a better deal, Microsoft gets a better deal, we as consumers end up benefiting in a big way. And this was definitely one of those moments. Microsoft was on the ropes in a pretty bad way. Xbox One era was kind of a rough time for them. And so to have something like this go out there and basically be a Trojan horse for the brand, like whether you like Microsoft or not, it's hard to say it's not a good deal, right? But Sour, what are your thoughts? What do you think about this whole thing? Do you think they pulled the plug too soon? Do you think it was past prime? What are your thoughts?
All right. Am I muted? Probably not.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. You all bring great points, and I think like a lot of you said, I think the family plan has to do a lot with what taking this out before the family plan hits because one, it could be confusing, and then the other thing is they're probably expecting that you take the $1 deal out, but then you bring them the family plan. The people are gonna be like, okay, I can't pay the $1, but with $4 more, if I team up with some other buddies, I can get Game Pass Ultimate. So I think they're counting on that, and you know they're expect. I guess if you think about it, like if they look they have if they're looking at the numbers, because we're not looking at all the numbers. They probably have, let's say they have 28 millions right now that are paying between Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. But maybe they see that they have a large number of people that are just using the $1 deal. they're probably expecting, okay, when's the family plan come out? If we eliminate the $1 deal, they're gonna have two options. They're either gonna not pay it at all and just move on, or they're gonna have to pay the family plan, which, you know, I think this makes perfect sense. I do think, like XTC mentioned, and I think you also mentioned, Silent, that it was a little bit early. I think they should have waited at least to, a couple of the heavy hitter drops, such as like Redfall and Starfield, and maybe you do a showcase to kind of remind people of what's coming in the future, and then you take it out, and
You, you know, so going along the lines of what you were saying with that too, right? The fact that you've got probably a lot of people that were sitting on, well, probably at this point, probably not a lot of people still doing the dollar deal, but obviously a bunch of people who have converted because of the dollar deal. But it does make me wonder, right? Like generally with the way that this stuff works, as far as marketing, as far as PR and stuff like that goes, right? Generally, you do something like this, but you usually follow it up with a positive. So it makes me wonder, like maybe we're going to hear more about the family deal coming out sooner than later, because if you take away the dollar deal, but then you're like, but guess what? We've got the family deal coming, and then you highlight that and you ramp up, right? Like right as you're going into the E3 chaos, right as you're going into your big marketing push into your E3 presentation. I think that would provide a bunch of fire. That would provide a lot of positivity going into that show, right? Like they've benefited on that positivity a lot recently. Obviously, with the stuff that we'll be talking about later, with the CMA and everything, they've shown themselves off as kind of a white knight with with some of the situations going on. And I think like this is a easy win for them if they wanted to come out and be like, yes, we're getting rid of this, but we're bringing the family plan, which is a bigger value for you. And this is the reason why you should jump into the value plan, like into the family plan, I mean. So I think this could be a really good opportunity, and it would not surprise me at all if we saw an announcement about that right before E3, because that would only surge the interest and the appeal as you're going into this big console release year, right? But okay, cool. Well, I appreciate your guys' opinion on this. It's obviously been a while since I've gotten to talk to you guys about video gaming, so I like having these little conversations. But Sour, I'm going to throw it over to you because I hear that you have some talk about a projector.
Yeah, but before you throw it at Sour, though, Sour, you gotta check that sound. It sounds super low.
oh, really?
Chats.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
his, okay.
yeah. You gotta check that out.
Okay, does it sound louder now?
Yeah, no, it still sounds super low. The chat said you guys sound a little bit low, so please check that out real fast.
Just one speaker. You sound just one speaker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you
sounds
sound
like
one
you're only coming in the left channel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I hear you.
What did you do, Sour? What did you do?
Can you just pump up your gain to balance it out, maybe?
It's all the way. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
so maybe not then. Okay.
No. But anyways, the world's first. You want me to talk about the projector, Sour, while you finish that up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, right. Let me take it away. The world's first projector designed for Xbox. ViewSonic has now launched the new X23/1K projector and X4/2K short throw projector. The new X1/4K and the X2/4K projectors reportedly deliver smooth 100K Ultra HD visuals on a large 4-inch screen and feature Harman Kardon speakers for cinematic sound. Wow, that is freaking awesome. Harman Kardon actually brings out good sound, man. It's pretty cool.
Yes, they do.
This series of projectors not only echo the designs of Xbox Series X in appearance, but also have Xbox unique resolution and refresh rate. Plus, the projector's 4.2 ms ultra-fast input and 240 HD refresh rates, ensuring that players can enjoy perfect and smooth gaming experience. Now, here's the thing, though. I'm not an expert in projectors, but Silent is. So, Silent, give us a little bit idea about that projector, because I know you were talking to me the other day about the lighting and stuff like that, stuff I didn't know. So please give us a little bit of your thoughts on this.
Crazy. Were we having a conversation while I was asleep? Because I don't remember this conversation. I don't know anything about projectors. That being said, though, I do know that you want to have a real high level of lumens so you can get good nits for your brightness.
Oh.
But no, I don't know much about projectors, man.
Well, I thought you did what you did though. But anyways, what's the price of this? Is what was it? 1,200 euro, was it, Sourblow? I saw the price on it. So it's is it actually in the price range though? Silent, in a good price range or not?
You're going to have to refresh me on what that many euros is.
That's probably like
Sorry.
1,000, probably $1,400, close to that 1,005 probably, or
I
1,003.
mean,
I don't know.
if you're providing, oh, cool, Sour's back. I see his camera now. If you're providing that high of lumens, you're providing that high of clarity, then yeah, I would think that would be worth it, especially because you can obviously increase quite a bit more than what you could do with like a normal HD TV, right? Like, or a 4K TV. You can only go so big with those before it's just kind of ridiculous and not super feasible. But if you can get a projector at like 1400 or even I would argue probably about 2K, as long as the lumens are really high, you've got really good clarity on and you've got good brightness and black levels on the actual HDR settings. I mean, that doesn't sound unreasonable to me at all. Would I purchase it? Probably not, because I'm kind of a cheapskate sometimes. And I've already got like 4 TVs. But if I were in the market to buy something like that myself, based on the specs that we're seeing, I would be interested. Like, if I were in the market, I think that would be a good one. Obviously, the brand has been around for a long time, too. ViewSonic's been around forever. I feel like I saw ViewSonic stuff back when I was in, like, elementary school. So the brand is trusted. They've obviously been in the market for a while. They know what they're doing. Sour, you in the market for a new projector?
No, not at all. With that money, I can probably buy a graphics card. I would upgrade for a graphics card.
You could buy a lot more than a graphics card for that.
Well, this depends too, which one. But,
Yeah.
True.
am I sounding on both sides now? Or
Yes,
is,
yes,
Yep.
you are,
Yeah,
buddy. Yes, you
better.
are.
And loud and clear, but
Way better, loud and clear. Now you got a little bit more on the volume, man. Now you'll be sounding like Brad Pitt. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I can do anything on that part. Yeah, regarding the projector, myself, I'm not really interested, but it's nice to have the options. I don't know if anyone else in the chat it's well, if you're interested in the chat, let me know, what you think of the projector, if that's something you will buy, and you guys in the panel, any of you interested in this projector?
so
Not me.
Especially the guest.
I actually do have a couple things, but Ecstasies, what's your take on it first?
I'm not. I'm a monitor player. I just play in monitor. I don't like to play on TV, so I don't think going to play in a big screen. I play a lot of shooters online, and I prefer anything compressed, and just my way of play. I have an LG OLED of 55 inches, and I don't play there. I play here in my monitor, so that's why I'm not interested on big screens, because it's not my choice. But it's a great gift for my father for watching films, because he uses a projector for watch films. He don't play video games.
I will say, so with the 240 hertz refresh on it, that along with the 4.2 millisecond input, like the lag for it, the latency for that is really good. Just based on, even based on normal TVs that we deal with nowadays, like that's pretty good. That's cutting edge. If I were interested in a projector at this point, like, that seems like it would be a given. I go back, like, I don't know. It's one of those moments where I feel like if Halo had ended up coming to our Xbox Series S as a couch co-op scenario, I probably would end up getting a projector for that, because I remember spending time like doing the 4-player projector play back in like 2002, 2003 on the original game with all my buddies, like sitting in the basement and just have the wall completely plastered as Halo. That would have been a really cool opportunity. I don't know if I need it at this point. I mean, honestly, with my old eyes failing on me, I'm just going to sit closer to my little 65-inch, right?
You say you give 343 so much, BS, and they
Mm-hmm.
actually saved you money because of that. You're not buying a
You're
projector.
right. You're right. They saved me money. I didn't buy an actual copy. I went right through Game Pass, and I will not be buying a second copy for my son. You're right. Thank you. Thank you, 343.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna move on. Because there's some more topics I want to get into. And speaking about an Xbox studio, let's talk a little bit about Playground Game, which it was announced that the co-founder Gavin Rayburn has launched a new AAA studio game, a new AAA game studio, and it's called Lighthouse Games. He was the game director of the first Forza Horizon title in 2012, and the team currently has 30 people hired. Like their staff is 30. They're working on a new genre-defining franchise, and it's interesting because Playground Games, this is the second, kind of like lead that leaves or big name that leaves the studio, and they have left to form their own studio. So I want to ask, let's start with the guest. Do you think this is a problem with Microsoft Studio or with Playground Game Studio? Or do you think it's just something that, these studios, they have a lot of time, these developers they're working, and it's kind of like a change in the world, they want to change things up, and they want to do their own thing, and it's just a coincidence that this happened. What's your take on
In
this?
my opinion, I think that culture, their culture and the gaming industry is very different than in my job, for example. And I know that the devs move on other studios constantly. So, in my opinion, that's not a problem because I think, really, it's my opinion, but the devs are going into a big bubble because I've seen like 25 AAA new studios with veterans of BioWare, Blizzard, Playground Games, Bethesda, Obsidian. I think that there aren't so much money to give the money to the studios to develop that all that AAA games of independent studios. So I think that they are making a startup. They took the money when they sold the studio to Xbox, and now they are making a startup and trying to be bought again. That's a cycle, but Gavin Rayburn left Playground Games, I remember, on the last summer. So he wasn't working actively in any project. He just was the co-founder, like Ralph Fulton, but Ralph Fulton is like a president. He doesn't do a field job. He's not in the field developing every day. And the Mike Brown founded another studio. You were talking about Mike Brown, and the same. He ended the job on Forza Horizon, director. Probably they told him, "We are fine with your job in Forza Horizon 5. Let's do the next. Let's direct the next Forza Horizon 6." And probably he thought, "I'm going to start my new studio. I know people here. I have some reputation. Maybe we could have some money, investors, and let's try it." But I think that we have a big bubble. I'm a little bit worried about the industry and what is going to happen with all that big, huge studios with the biggest ambition in the world. It's not possible for me. And if you see, every week we have 2 or 3 new AAA studio every week. That's not sustainable like Game Pass.
Oh man.
All right. How about you, Plume? Like, what do you think about the whole situation?
I mean, I think Ecstasy said it perfectly. I agree pretty much what he said there. I think it's just a guy who as wants to start up his own thing. He had 30 people come to the studio. I'm sure a lot of those people he's worked with at Playground Games, lots of good connections and talent that he has that pedigree that people want to go easily probably to go work with him. It probably wasn't even that tough for him to recruit people. So it's just a matter of him trying to probably build up a studio and then sell it and get that big payoff at the end of the day. Or, I mean, get something that's continuously able to make a lot of money rather than staying and working at Playground where you're getting obviously paid a salary and there's a limit to that. And it's not going to be as lucrative as if you start your own studio. And when you have I guess the pedigree that he has from working on the Horizon, you're going to have people in there that believe in his vision and stuff. So I think that's pretty much all it is.
Silent. I know you're the Forza guy. Are you concerned about this? Does this bother your sleep when you see this, or you're okay with what's going on?
I'm okay with it. Being as someone who just shifted from a job where I was kind of higher up to a different thing to kind of take a fall back and like shift into different ventures and stuff. Like I get it. Like there's a moment of growth. There's time that people want change. It's the same thing as the market with housing, right? Is like you've got a couple different times each year, usually going into the winter and starting the school year, or going into the summer where people end up selling houses or buying houses. There's times for change and stuff, and every now and then like you get a little stagnant in where you're at. And it's not necessarily that things are stagnant or bad at the Forza Horizon studios, right? Like Playground and all those, like they're doing great things. But you get to a certain point where when you've been with a company as long as these guys have been, like as long as Mike Brown has been there and folks like that, and at some point, like you want your piece of the pie too, right? Like just like Ecstasies and Plume we're talking about is like, you want that opportunity, right? You want someone coming to you at some point and being like, yo, I want to buy your IP. So you can be like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I can hang out. I can, be like a support character for this team. I can be around, but I don't have to rely on making the big bucks anymore because I've made my money. Like, it's smart. It's smart in a business aspect or in a career aspect, right? Like you want to get to retirement status as fast as possible without having to be 60. Right? Like you want to be able to retire in your 40s or whatever so you can enjoy like 30 or 40 years of time just kicking back, relaxing, and enjoying what you love. So I get it. Like, and we see turnover all the time, right? We saw it in 343, which granted, there were a lot of other things going on there as well. But like, you see turnover everywhere. Like you see folks leave the coalition. You saw, what was it? Ferguson. Rod Ferguson ended up leaving there and he bounced over to ActiBliz. And it's not like he was like, oh God, this IP's in trouble. Like I need to get out before it fails. It's just that, like people want change sometimes. And so just like myself, I'm sure they're probably in the same boat. They want what's better for their family, what's better for their career goals.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's an opportunity for them as, developers, especially now that Forza has such a huge name. They can go create their own studio, use that name to kind of promote their studio, and then hopefully, people get to know their new games. And then on the other side too, which this is my question to Crazy Lou, could this be actually good for, for the Forza franchise? We saw how Forza 5 kind of innovated in different ways. Now that, they're going to have, different developers, a different lead, could this be beneficial for the next Forza and maybe they can innovate a little bit more?
Innovate a little bit more on Forza. Wow, I mean that because I'm gonna tell you something though. That's you put
It's a
me the
hard
hard.
task. It's a hard task.
That's a hard task, yeah. Because I mean, Forza man, such a fun game. Everything about it is beautiful. I mean, how can what can I say? What How can you make Forza better than it is? I mean, you're asking the wrong person on this, because I'm gonna tell you something though. We got the Forza Pro player down there, which is Silent Cypher. If he wants to make that game better, he's the one who's got to say. Because me, all I do is I hop in that car, I drive, and and just do some cool stuff. But hey, man, to make it better, man, because I can tell you something though, that motorsport that's gonna come out, ooh, it's gonna look beautiful. And if when somebody leaves, if the studio's already organized and it's working the way that it is, even though one person leaves, I mean, they're gonna continue doing their hard work and keep making it better. So yeah, I know they're gonna do great. Force is always gonna be great because hey, man, look at that review we got last time. It was a perfect 10, and the game is just perfect. It's not I won't say perfect with the online issue because it keeps kicking people off. But other than that, though, the game is just perfect.
Yeah. Well, talking about maybe not a perfect game, but a great game. I saw a little tweet that I kind of wanted to share because I am a fan of this game, and I just wanted to know what you guys think about this game. Now, this game doesn't no longer belong to the Xbox platform. It actually belongs to the competition, and it was Insomnia Game made a post for Sunset Overdrive, sorry. They posted a picture of Sunset Overdrive, and their message says, "Get a load of these propanes and propanes accessories." Do you guys think that in this date and age, maybe Sunset Overdrive, if it comes back as a remake or remaster or maybe a sequel, do you think maybe it will be more successful? Or maybe that the PlayStation platform might help it be more successful? Or do you guys think that it's a game that, it's just a niche kind of like game and it won't receive as much praise as to me it deserves? What do you think, Crazy? Let's start with you. Did you play Sunset Overdrive?
Yeah, I did. I did actually play it. I played it for a bit, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of it. So
Wow.
yeah, I did play it. I know, but I did not saying I'm not a big fan. I played it for like an hour or so. So maybe you know,
Oh,
Oh
like,
yeah,
so you didn't play it?
yeah, basically
yeah.
like he beat. What
Yeah.
was that game he beat? And then when we started asking him, he only
Oh
played
yeah,
like
Quantum Break.
oh
Quantum
yeah,
Break.
Oh
Yeah.
dear Lord, Quantum
We
Break.
we have we have the receipts, Crazy.
yes we do. Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll give it a go one day. I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. But if they actually made a sequel, a lot of people I've heard talking about it say it's a great game. So if they make it a sequel, man, I would be really happy if they did. Because
But
games like that, if people loved it, they need to come back. Like for example, look, I lost Silent Dogs. That's the game that I miss, and Sleeping Dogs. I mean, not Silent Dogs, Sleeping
I was
Dogs.
Silence
like
dogs.
silent dogs. I like silent. I thought you had a cat.
Yeah, but
I have
Sleeping
I have a
Dogs.
dog too. We just don't talk about the dog.
You see, I got it then. But yes, Sleeping Dogs was games that I lost, and a lot of people talk about it that they loved it and they wish there was a sequel. So yeah, why not? I hope that Insomniac grabs that and make it a sequel. If it goes onto PlayStation, then yeah, why not? I will look back and play number one and give it a go. See if I actually enjoy it and love it like you guys do.
All right, Plume, you look like you play Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, I love Sunset Overdrive. It was one of my favorite games on the Xbox. Well, it was the game that came with my Xbox One when I bought my Xbox One to play the Master Chief Collection. I would have never played it if it wasn't for that, but I'm so happy that it came with it 'cause it went up being one of my favorite games of the generation. And then when Insomniac was purchased, and I was like, damn, this is going to be exclusive only to PlayStation. But we'll see. If they do make a remake or they do make a remaster, I feel like they're going to launch it on PC as well. And I think like it's weird because like not nearly enough people played it when it launched. Maybe because it was on the Xbox One and I think it launched like a year after the Xbox One came out, or maybe a couple months or whatever. So it wasn't as popular then, but now you see a lot of people talking about it. And on top of that, you're going to have all the PlayStation fanboys who are automatically going to love it no matter what. So that's going to bring a lot of people playing it. So I hope so. I mean, I hope they do something with it. It's just unfortunate that it's going to be locked. And if hopefully they at least put it out on PC at the same time as the PS5, because I think it's a great series that they can tap into and expand on.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Silent Cypher?
I got a couple things. So Plume, if you got that with your Xbox One, that means you got the white Xbox One?
Yeah, white Xbox
Yeah,
One
okay.
with
Okay.
the Sunset Overdrive box. Like honestly, one of the nicest boxes I think I've
Yes.
ever seen on a video game console.
100%. Super bright. Super
Yeah.
bright. Yeah, so I will admit, I have not played as much as I need to of that game. I want to go back and play it. It felt like it came out at a bad time for me because I felt like I already had so many other games that I was playing, and I wonder if that's partly the situation other folks run into, right? Is there were other things I was playing at the time that I was getting my fill on, and so maybe that's part of it. But I mean, that being said, with a new one coming out, when I see something like this, I would assume that Sony's got something in the works. Like obviously you've got Insomniac working on stuff, right? The Here's the thing. Here's what I worry about. I worry that Sony is going to end up pulling an EA, like an EA of a few years ago, where this thing's not going to sell the numbers that they're hoping it'll sell. Like it'll do well, it'll do fine, but I'm afraid that they're thinking it's going to do way better than it is probably going to do. And
Yep.
then we will only see a sequel. We will not see reiterations past that because Sony doesn't seem to be in the same growth mindset nowadays about reiterating and bringing out more copies of like some of the franchises that people love. You look at something like SOCOM, you look at Killzone, you look at Resistance, and it gets me nervous that they're just not in the same mindset that they'd be willing to give them a second chance if this falls apart, right?
And even worse, because we know they want to release all these live service games. I wouldn't be surprised if they turn this into just completely live service online game because there was a multiplayer aspect to Sunset Overdrive. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, I personally I played this game when I first jumped into the Xbox ecosystem, which was on PC. So I jumped because of Sea of Thief, and I wanted to play with my friends. And then I started trying some of the Xbox games that were bad games, and I was liking them all. And then a friend, highly recommended that game. And then when I played it, I beat it on PC. I loved it. I actually purchased it on PC. And then when I bought my Xbox, I then purchased it again and actually beat it again. That's how much I love Sunset Overdrive. So yeah, I think it's a very underrated game. I don't know if Ecstasy has played it or if he's a fan of it.
it was my first game of Game Pass. I am a
nice.
Game Pass subscriber since the first day, and my first game was Sunset Overdrive, and then Sea of Thieves and all that stuff. But I like the game. I love the game. I love the style. I love the gameplay. It's a very fun game. But I think that it's not in the plans of Sony because I'm with Silent. They don't take risks. They are not going to make huge investments on risky games. So I think that it's a hidden gem, maybe Sunset Overdrive, because it has a lot of fans, but it's not a huge mass movement. I don't know. I think it's not happening nothing with Sunset Overdrive. All the developers talk just we were very fun with while we were developing the game. We love the game, but not any hints or any tip or something that we can think, okay, they are working on it. They are the fabric of action adventures, filmic games, and I don't think it's happening. I will love it, but I don't think
Do you
it's
think
happening.
maybe Ecstasy that maybe Insomnia game they want to work on this game, but because like you said, PlayStation don't like to take risks or Sony as a whole, maybe they're they're throwing these little tweets to kind of like incentivize and maybe get people to retweet them and maybe they
Draw
can be like,
attention.
draw attention and be like, hey, look, this got some attention. Maybe maybe you should let us work on it.
Yeah, but it's the kind of game that the people talks very well about it, but the numbers, they all think on the numbers, and with the numbers on the hands, it's not an attractive option to Sony. So I wouldn't expect that game. I'm so sad about that, but I won't expect because Sony, it's another way of the business. And if you don't have higher than X on Metacritic, and if you don't have higher than X sold copies, we don't care about nothing about that.
All right. Well, we're gonna talk FTC soon, but before that, a game that we are excited to see, and it is coming soon. Well, it's already released, but something is coming soon. Silent, can you tell us about our next topic?
Coming soon. I think it came. I think it arrived today.
The-
So or at least that's what my Xbox was telling me. It told me I had a hefty update pending when I jumped into the game earlier to see if I could get it all installed on my X again. So regarding Forza Horizon 5, we ended up seeing and hearing that it was going to be receiving its second DLC called the Rally Adventure. And that hits today. So it ends up containing, it's got new cars, has new zones, has a whole new campaign to it, has a whole bunch of like new circuit races, new mechanics associated with like actual rally games. So you actually have like the person coming over the speaker, like basically telling you your directions and stuff, which I've heard a lot of folks saying already. Like if you go into cockpit view and you drop off like your HUD and stuff, it really creates an immersive experience so far because like it feels very much like those old dirt rally games and games of old that like that was the big game that did it all the time back in the day. And so like it's cool to see Forza jumping into this because they've never really dipped their toes into this side of things before. I'm excited. Like I'm super excited about the fact that we've got some more content coming out for it. I feel like I ended up blowing through a bunch of stuff on Forza early on when it released, and I really haven't spent a lot of time on it recently. And this gives like a really good opportunity to go back in. Looks like they've done a lot of things to kind of help, quality of life things as well, right? So they tweaked the anti-lag system and added anti-lag system to kind of make it so it's got better audio, but also input across like online stuff. They changed profile sizes for like tires and stuff. They set it so now you've got new rally body kits and stuff. You have new radio station called Epitaph. You've got different steering wheel options for the console side of things, and then you've also got DLSS 3.0 support and Reflex for NVIDIA. So it looks like there's quite a bit coming on this one, and I'm super stoked to dip my toes back into it. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've been in on some Forza. I feel like I've missed a bunch of Forza Fridays recently. Like I used to give Crazy grief for the fact that he didn't show up for Forza Fridays with Paul and Daz and all the guys. And sadly, I've been the guy who hasn't been showing up recently. I'm the one who's tardy. So it's time. I'm ready to dip my toes back into this, get behind the steering wheel as it is, and dive back into it.
All right, we're gonna fund this Forza Friday. Woohoo!
Not this Friday, I work.
Oh, okay. Next Friday then. Man. Whew. I guess it's time for the main topics, guys, right? Let's jump into that because we got a lot of stuff going on with the FTC. Ooh, dear Lord.
Not just the FTC.
CMA.
Well, let's pass it to our expert, Plume. Plume.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'm the expert, but I have been reading a lot of things in the last couple of months.
Ooh,
My
wow.
brain seems like it's going to explode. But it's been another just wild week in the Xbox, Activision Blizzard merger saga. Lots of stuff going on. Probably one of the biggest things that has happened recently has been the stuff with the CMA and them updating their provisional findings, right? So initially they had three main issues when it came to Xbox acquiring Activision Blizzard. They had the console market that they had issues with, the cloud market, and then they had the enforcement of the remedies and the commitments that Microsoft was going to make for this deal to pass. And this week, or was it maybe it was probably last week?
Last week.
Last week, yeah, thank you. So last week they came out and they said that they don't have any more concerns about the console market. Specifically, this is what they said. They say, having considered the additional evidence provided, we have now provisionally concluded that the merger will not result in a substantial lessening of competition in console gaming services because the cost to Microsoft of withholding Call of Duty from PlayStation would outweigh any gains from taking such action. I mean, and that was something I think like anybody reading through these arguments that PlayStation was making, that Microsoft was making, and then the concerns that the regulatory bodies had, the conclusion I think a lot of people thought was going to happen because they were thinking that Microsoft was going to withhold Call of Duty from PlayStation and they were going to degrade the game, make the price higher on PlayStation, all these things that made just absolutely no business sense. But they've looked at more information and that's the decision they've come to specifically on the console market. And another thing people were talking about here was how they define the console market, which is like the high end consoles, which does not include the Nintendo Switch. It only includes Xbox and PlayStation, which probably worked in the favor of Microsoft with how these regulatory bodies defined that, because it made PlayStation look like it had an even bigger lead overall than they currently do in regards to all the consoles out there. So that was the first big thing. I guess we'll just do this in pieces and we'll start on that. And we'll start with you, XCCs. What do you think about this? And what do you think this means for the deal going forward? And you think it's going to close all that type of stuff?
Okay, I was very negative about the deal because I was learning, studying, because I'm a lawyer, but I'm a maritime lawyer. I don't work anything about mergers and acquisitions. But I spent a lot of time studying, reading, and I've had the sensations that the CMA was arguing about the structural remedies because they've never before have accepted the the behavioral remedies, just one or two times in all their history, and they have reviewed like more than 100 of mergers and acquisitions. That it's a very hard case for Microsoft, but this change is open other different scenario because we had one theory of harm that was the console market, that was a huge and the most important market for the structural remedies, because we were talking about the Call of Duty disinvestment, or Call of Duty and all the studios of Call of Duty, or Call of Duty and the Blizzard studios, whatever, but you have to sell unless Call of Duty and the studios of Call of Duty. If you can't, you have to sell Call of Duty and all the Activision studios. And if you can't sell that, you can sell Activision and Blizzard full. For me, it's very, very positive. It's a huge and amazing and awesome work of the lawyers, because they could argument that the CMA made a mistake. They made a mistake of the maths. A math error make that the scenario changed completely, because the theory of harm, they were counting only 1 year and Microsoft was talking about 5 years. And obviously make Call of Duty exclusive when you buy Activision Blizzard King, it's a non-business sense, because if you have a player base, you have a fan base, make that extreme change, it's bad for your trademark. Call of Duty, it's a very valuable trademark, and if you make bad movements for the fans are going to leave. We have a lot of shooters, a lot of market, a lot of shooters are coming soon. So you are the guardian of an IP, so you have to care that IP, and you can do whatever you want. So for me, are a very good news, because right now I'm more positive than negative. And before, when I saw the provisional findings, I don't say it's over, but I say it's a very hard battle, and I don't think we were going to win. But right now, it's very positive, and with all the agreements in the cloud market, I think that they will make concessions in Europe and UK on the same way. And I think it's positive for all the strategy and all the way that this deal is going through. But we have the problems with the FTC, but we're going to talk about that next.
Yeah, no, I think the EU and the CMA have. Well, we will talk about next, but I think what decision they come to is going to have a big effect on the FTC. But we'll throw to, let's go with Silent. What do you think about this?
Sorry about that. I had myself on mute so you didn't have to hear me cough. No, I think I land in the same boat as Ecstasy's was, right? Is like there was a good moment there where I was convinced, like, okay, this thing's dead in the water. Things are gonna fail. This isn't gonna happen. And I was getting kind of nervous because, like, I know obviously we've talked about the scorched earth scenarios in the past as to, like, well, what if this doesn't go through? What happens if this doesn't go through? Like, I felt like it was going to be a really messy situation. And, you know, it could still be, right? Like, there's always time. There's still time for this. But it feels more often than not now, it feels like it's got a path forward that it didn't have previously. I'd be very curious as to what other things come out as the next little bit follows up, right? Because we're supposed to start hearing some like confirmation and finalization on this stuff here in the next few weeks, right? It's April 26th is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. That's for the CMA, and then the EU.
Oh, yeah, sorry for CMA.
European
May.
Union is 22nd of May and CMA
Right.
26th of April. But it's because in Europe, they make a market test of the remedies, and in UK they think that that market test is like a I don't know how to say the word. It's like a popularity vote. It's like a popularity vote, and they make other things to study the remedies. That's why.
Yeah, so I mean that's good. I mean, honestly, I'm sure everyone here, like, it's been fun seeing all the back and forth of all this stuff over the last bit, but I'm sure all of us are looking forward to like a finalization of this. Like, I think all of us just want to get to the point where we actually see like the fruits of the labor, this very extreme labor that has happened over the last year, I guess already. It's nuts. It's wild that's already been a year. But yeah, no, I'm, like I said, I think I'm sitting right around the same as them. Is like, I feel like there's a path forward now based on some of the details that we're actually starting to get. I feel like over the last few weeks, especially as I've been trying to catch up, it feels like things are moving more and more towards this thing actually sealing and closing. So.
Yeah. Crazy. Sorry, you guys have any thoughts on this? Should we keep it going on to the next part of it?
Keep it going, brother. Keep it going. For me, you can keep it going.
Keep it going. All right.
Yeah,
So then there was a bunch of other stuff that happened, and this mainly, I guess, we'll talk about the FTC now, which a lot of the stuff happened this week, and I think at the end of last week as well, where there was some documents that were requested. We've heard that it isn't just Sony and PlayStation who haven't been really complying to wanting to provide all of the documents that they've been asked to provide. Seems like Microsoft as well. And I guess Microsoft's argument towards not providing these documents was the fact that they feel like these are the least important documents and that they've already provided a lot of this stuff. And it's just going to be tedious to actually provide these documents to the FTC. But the judge has actually ordered that they do need to provide them. And I believe it's like 81 requests for production that the FTC had made, and now they're going to actually have to go forward and provide a bunch of stuff that they have asked. So that'll be interesting what that does in terms of if it does help the FTC's case, or is this just the FTC doing their thing, trying to make it difficult on Microsoft? Because one thing we can, I guess you could kind of say here with the FTC, with Lena Khan and everything that we've seen, is that she's really just trying to show that the FTC is a strong part of the government that isn't going to take shit from anybody type of thing. At least that's what it looks like as an outsider looking in. And then we also have Congress on top of that, who has been pressing, getting questions asked about Japan and asking that there needs to be a look into the competition in Japan. And specifically, let's just see. Do I have what their quote, what they say? They say, "Today we write to bring to your attention the imbalanced Japanese video game market, which we are concerned may be a result of a discriminatory trade practice that could violate the spirit of the US-Japan Digital Trade Agreement." And they are using a massive number here to kind of show the difference with the advantage that PlayStation has in Japan over Xbox. They're using the 98% market dominance, which doesn't really make any sense because they're not including Nintendo, of course. But that again is what the regulators have used as a definition, which is the high-end console market. So that stuff's been happening as well. And I guess the question I have from all of this, we'll start with you, Sour. Let's say the FTC goes ahead and continues to fight this thing, but then the CMA and the EU pass it, and then they make a deal with Xbox. How do you think this deal overall is going to affect the entire gaming industry going forward in terms of consolidation? Like, what's Sony's response going to be? Do you think it's going to have an effect? Are we going to see more acquisitions after this?
Well, it's gonna depend on a lot of factors. Like, once this deal close, I think Sony, in a way, they're gonna be forced to kind of make a move. Are they gonna be able to buy a publisher as big as Activision Blizzard? Of course not. They don't have the funds to do that. But I'm sure they're gonna have to, get created and make deals, or come up with something to actually try to compete. And this might actually fast forward their their transition into games they want on PC, into cloud service, and all that, because they're gonna be forced. If not, they're gonna be left behind, and they're seeing this. That's why they're so strongly against this. Is the industry going to change? Yeah, I think all around, it is going to change a lot in the industry, because now a lot of these other studios are going to look at Xbox with a different eye, because now, now they own all these iconic IPs. They basically going to own, besides the Xbox publisher, they're also going to own Bethesda publisher, and then the Activision Blizzard, which is also a huge publisher. So now, at the time, like Crazy and I were talking about this, at the time, other studios, before, they had to make a deal, and, PlayStation would tell them, we have a deal for you, but you cannot sign a deal with Xbox. Because they were, the market leader, they would, they would say yes. They had no other choice, because, PlayStation was the market leader. They had the most, the highest player base, etc. Now, because Xbox, they're gonna have all these publishers. They're gonna have all these iconic. They know people are gonna look at Xbox with a different eye, and also Xbox is making it accessible for everyone. You're gonna be able to play Xbox games anywhere, for your phone, tablet, everywhere. I think this is huge.
Yeah, and one thing I did forget to mention on top of this, not only did they press Japan, but at the same time, Japan actually approved the deal. So that's another thing that plays into this. So I guess the question for Lui, for Crazy, what do you think about Japan approving this deal? Do you think do you think that Japan would ever actually look into Sony and see the practices that they are doing in terms of the exclusivity, and then do something about it? Or is this just political posturing from the US and them trying to pretend like they are doing something to help Microsoft, the American company?
You're muted, Crazy.
Crazy, you're muted.
I had to mute myself because
It's in timeout.
no. Sorry, there's like a traffic jam in the street. The people honking horns like crazy. So sorry about that, guys. I had to mute myself real quick. So yes,
Hear it.
oh, you guys can hear it. I'm telling you. So, there's always something going on around my house. That's the truth, though. There's always something going on.
We got buses flying in the air.
Oh, really? Don't
You
tell
didn't
me
hear
that
the
because.
horn? We're on a flight, remember?
I didn't know planes had horns. Wow. Right.
I mean, loud and clear, man, loud and clear. But yes, here's the thing, though. We talked about this last week, me and Sourblow. We went, and I told them after we read through 6 anonymous companies talking about this dominant company, being the ruler, the king, the high power, because this is what pretty much is going on, right? So since Sony is the high power ruler kingdom, they got all the power, they have all the power to negotiate. And we were talking about how third party developers go over there and say, hey, want to negotiate with you, and Sony says, hey, this is what we have, and third party developers are like, hey, but can we change this? Sony says, or either you take it or leave it. Pretty much that's what they do. So after we read this and went through this, I'm happy. I'm super happy that not only the developers are pushing this, also the US is also helping, to push this to see it through. Because again, Sony, what Sony is scared of showing is how the way they manage their stuff, how the way is they're managing their third party deals and stuff like that. They're afraid to show that, because when people see that, I'm seeing this scenario. Because I always mention this documentary, Console Wars, really good if you guys have not seen it, which is Nintendo versus Sega. And the Sega representative said that Nintendo literally told third-party developers, if you make a game for Sega, you guys are not going to come through here. Seriously, that's what they told them straight. They just went straight forward and said that to them. So, but that was in the 90s, and I don't know how it is now, but I can imagine Sony's doing the same thing. So I'm happy that actually the US is actually helping with this and saying, hey, these guys have 98% of this. These guys are doing this. They're tying up deals. They're not letting these games, like for example, Final Fantasy, jump into Xbox. This type of stuff going onto Xbox, which of course all of us as fans, from RPGs, would love to have it over there. We would love to have let me give you an example that Sony locked in. What's another, like for example, Persona 5, when they locked it in. They locked in Persona 5, and all of a sudden they came over here to Xbox, and everybody, is actually loving it and enjoying it now. So yes, I'm loving that everybody's pushing for that, because hey, we got to figure out what's going on with the third party deals. We got to figure out what's happening, because we really want all the games that we can actually play, not these guys locking everything up like they're doing, and let Xbox have an actual competition over there in Japan, you know, because they want to grow. They want to grow, and that's the truth. If they grow, it's going to even a playing field for third party developers, because now Sony won't have them locked down as they used to, and Xbox is good, as we see, because later on when we go down the conversation, we're going to talk about the ID at Xbox. We know all the stuff that Xbox has been doing and all the good stuff they've been doing, and we would love to see them, over there in Japan, grab some of these developers, some of these companies, and bring them over here to the Xbox side. It will be awesome if they do that. But yeah, like I said, it's going to even a playing field for negotiations for third-party developers. Is not going to be as locked up. So yes, I'm super happy these guys are pushing that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the question. What would Xbox do in Japan further if they had a bigger foothold in the market? And I think the biggest thing people will be looking at is the Square Enix stuff. That's the thing I'm most interested in. What are those deals that PlayStation makes with Square Enix? But Ecstasies, what do you think about the FTC? Do you think that they're going to go to court all the way to August 2nd, or do you think they're going to settle before? And what do you just think about the way that they're handling things with this deal so far?
I'm a little bit lost in the process of this kind of stuff with the regulators in USA, but they make a complaint and not an injunction, because I think that they are trying to waste the time of Microsoft and not to win the case. You know what I mean? They don't have. I know that the Lina Khan looks crazy, but I'm not American, but I understand what she's trying to make. Here in Europe or in UK, the regulators can block the deals, and in USA, the regulators can't block the deal. Alina Khan said something 1 year ago like, you miss the shots that you don't make. So she's shooting everywhere, trying to have some final judge sentences that say, okay, we are fine, and you have won in the court, and you can make laws, because in the English countries the law is making by the, I don't know how to say it in English right now. Wait a second. I don't know how to say the word. Wait a second. Sentences. Yeah, I was saying fine. With the sentences of the court, you can make the laws, because you have the common law. You don't have the Roman law. I work with the Roman law, but in the common law, the sentences make the law. So they want right sentences for make new laws for mergers and acquisitions because, they can be a little bit worried about the big tech, and because we have seen Meta, Facebook, and WhatsApp, Instagram, and all that stuff. But they are late. It's like in Europe, they are always late, and that's happening now with the AI, artificial intelligence. They are not regulating now, and in some years they are going to say, "Oh, we have made very bad, very bad, very bad, very bad," but they have to regulate it now because it's a thing that is it's a problematic topic, the artificial intelligence with the job of the people, teachers, fabrics, and all that stuff. It's a very, very, very lawyers too. The artificial intelligence make whatever they want. So the FTC is is making Microsoft waste the time. Microsoft has to wait the approval of Europe and UK, and then we will see. They will try to negotiate a game because Microsoft have a very important political influence, and they are not going to say, "Okay, we are Elon Musk and we are going to be against any governments, any stuff," because they work with the governments, they work for the governments, they work for the biggest banks and all that stuff, and they have to have a clean image because they were cleaning their image like 20 years or 10 years, the worst image in the business industry. So let's see. The FTC has to make the complaint. We have the the hearing on 12th of August. We could have the sentence of on early 2024. So let's see. I hope Microsoft negotiate. I hope they drop the console theory of harm because they have consoles and they have a cloud and all that stuff. Any regulator, nobody in the world has the console complaint. So let's see. Of course, they have to leave the political motivation and have the legal motivations, because I think that in the court, federal court, they have nothing to do, and I think that in their in-house court, they have nothing to do. So let's see. I'm confident. But maybe we will have to wait more than we expect. Maybe.
Sorry, you're muted. Still muted.
Still muted.
Okay, how about now?
There, you're good.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay, and now my camera went up. Okay. I have a question for you, Ecstasy. Maybe you know the answer to this. So let's say Microsoft gets approved everywhere except the FTC. They have to go to court. Can Microsoft make the decision to say, okay, we're closing the deal and we're going to go to court with the FTC so we can start working with Activision Blizzard, and then, whatever happens after that, we will kind of like make adjustment?
They can do it, but first they have to renegotiate the deal, because in the SEC filings, they say that you need the approval of FTC, SAMR of China, CMA, and European Commission. So they have to renegotiate the deal. I don't know if they are going to want more money, want other conditions. We don't know, but they have to renegotiate. And I'm not so confident on Bobby Kotick in a negotiation, so let's see. But they have to renegotiate, because if not, any shareholder can make an injunction to the SEC because they are violating the SEC filing.
I got a follow-up question with that, because we had a guest
Yeah.
that had a very controversial, take on this.
Yep.
And she thought from the beginning that the deal wasn't going to go through, not because they were going to get blocked by the CMA, the FTC, or anything like that, but because she was expecting that, the deal was going to extend. They were going to have to renegotiate, and Bobby Kotick was going to be very difficult, or maybe even Microsoft, would look at the deal and be like, you know what, this deal no longer is beneficial for me because I can invest in something else. Like for example, AI, like you mentioned, is pretty big right now, and maybe they can take that money and invest there. Do you see that as a possibility, or do you still think they will still go through with the deal?
I don't think so because okay, if he wants money, he's getting money if the deal isn't going through because I think he got like 3.5 billions if the deal doesn't go through. But I think that Kotick has a lot of problems. I think that Activision Blizzard have a lot of problems in their business models. It's not sustainable. Every year, Call of Duty. This year, they are going to be to make a DLC like a premium game, but it's the same game with another 60 maps and another campaign, but in the same game, in the same base game, Modern Warfare 2. So they are a Call of Duty factory. They have a lot of workers. They have a lot of cost, and I think that Bobby Kotick is going to get a lot of money if this deal is going through, and if it's not going through, I think that Bobby Kotick, yes or yes, want to sell the company. Who is buying the company if this deal is going through, and who is going to pay more than $95 per share? I think nobody. So I think that they are going to renegotiate. But I am more worried for Microsoft way than Activision way, in my opinion, because I think Microsoft is not going to be the silly guy. You know what I mean? It's like it's not going to be stupid. And Bobby Kotick, it's very eccentrical. Maybe he's very smart on the business,
Yeah.
on the bad way. But let's see. Let's see. I think that this is going through in a very high chances, but I can't know if it's easier than okay, we renegotiate, we go through, or the political higher estimates are going to say, "We're what the fuck are you doing, bro? It's like what are you doing? We are good. You are good guys. What? Why are you going on the bad guy or being bad guys? I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say because it's not my jurisdiction. It's hard to say. I don't understand. Um, to which problems are you exposing making this? I don't know.
Here's what can I give a quick opinion about this, guys? Because here's the thing. There's something that I think though ecstasies about this.
You can't, crazy.
If if the deal doesn't doesn't get approved right away and they have to go to a renegotiation process. Remember something though. I mean, when Microsoft offered the 70 billion, they offered them a lot more than what their asking price
Yeah.
was. So pretty much double, the price was. It's
Yeah.
close to double. So I think Bobby does want this deal to close because if it doesn't, their stocks are gonna tank really fast. I mean,
Yeah, but
Activision.
they have 3.5 billions to revive the shares. And
Oh, I know that, but either way, though, it's gonna tank. It's gonna tank real fast. And even though they got 3.5 billion, it's not compared to all that amount of money that for example, he is gonna receive because he is gonna receive
no,
a
the
huge
3.5 is for the Activision. He
Activision.
has other
Yes,
clause for other
exactly,
things, but
exactly.
he has a golden parachute, and
Yep.
on the legal way, he keeps out of Activision, and maybe he doesn't have so much problems on the legal way,
Now,
personal legal problems. That's why he's selling. He doesn't want problems. He know that the business was in its top.
Yeah.
Let's see, Activision only one time on all its history was on one hundred no $100, yes, a share $100 only one time on his history, and it's never going to $100. I think that Activision is never going to be on $95 per share. So it's the moment. He tried to sell to any other company before Microsoft, and I think that it's the only way to Bobby Kotick to make this. But if they want to go through without Microsoft, I think that the money that they receive from Microsoft, they're going to revise shares to make a parachute. Again, we're talking about parachute of that fall of the price of the shares when obviously they say we are not going through.
Yeah, because like I'm telling you, the amount of money he's gonna make, because he's gonna make a huge amount with the $70 billion deal. I mean, I don't know how much he's gonna receive though, but he's gonna receive a lot. So that's something that I think that's why I think that Microsoft offered Activision Blizzard that much, which pretty much, of course, Bobby caught it. What he likes is money. I mean, who doesn't? He loves money,
Yeah.
of course. And so with this, with this buy, right? He said, "Oh, I'm gonna get this much." So he pretty much, I think from my side of things, he wants more
Yeah. Of
to
course,
go
there
through this
are
deal.
very small chances to leave. Very
Yeah.
small chances. I think that all the parts, both parts, are interested on renegotiate and this going through.
Yeah.
But I don't trust on businessmen. That's why
Oh no.
I can't trust on them because obviously public they have to say everything is okay. We are going through because, for example, imagine when we received the provisional findings, the first provisional findings of the CMA, they say, okay, this is very hard. I think we are going to lose. Brad Smith said, okay, we are going to lose. This is very hard. And obviously, Activision can make an injunction to Microsoft for don't fight enough for the deal. So they are caring about the shares, the shareholders, and they can say, I think they can't be honest. So they are like politicians, very generic. Okay, we are going through, we are okay. And until the end, we are talking with all the regulators, very constructive conversations. But I don't trust in anyone. But if I have to make an opinion, I will say, okay, both are interested. It's a lot of money. They are not going to reach that money. If Activision Blizzard, for example, is going to get bugged by Tencent, for example, the FTC is going to say stop, or the DOJ is going to say stop, or the European Commission is going to say stop. So it's the better boyfriend or the girlfriend Microsoft to Activision. So they are condemned to be understood. So
Another thing is that I'm looking at before the deal. Bobby Kotick was like in the hot seat because of everything that was going on in Activision Blizzard. But if we look at everything, everyone has forgotten about that. And we know that he knows how to run Activision Blizzard. Another scenario could be that when they close the deal, they leave him in that spot, even if it's for a year or two more, in order for them to see how Activision Blizzard is run, and before they pass the torch to someone else, and that can also give them another amount of money for a certain time, because everyone was expecting him to leave immediately, but now
I think day one like Game Pass, day one leave. Microsoft can't allow someone that
It will be
Bobby
too
Kotick.
too bad PR if they let
They
him stay in, I
can't.
think. Yeah.
They can't do it. 1 year or two.
I hope not.
I think that Bobby Kotick is out, Lulu Cheng is out, and let's see, maybe
You think Lulu is out too?
Lulu's out.
I think so
Even
because we see Lulu. Of course, we have a lot of fun watching executives playing like console warriors. But at the end of the day, Lulu Cheng is the chief of communications of Bobby Kotick. So it's like Bobby Kotick's right hand. So maybe they are on the same way, and you can make a Google search and you can see that Lulu Cheng is against the unions. She was threatening the employees of that wants to make an unionization in Q&A on Blizzard, I guess. So she's a Bobby Kotick. I always say it like a joke, not in bad faith. That is the Bobby Kotick Pitbull. That's Bobby Kotick's Pitbull, because they are on the same ideological business way.
Interesting. Because I just googled this real quick, guys, and I'll tell you something. If the deal closes, he will get up to $520 million if the deal
Yep.
gets closed. I mean, that's a lot of money. So I'm guessing he's really hoping,
Yeah.
to close that deal to receive that amount of money. With 520 million, he retires. He doesn't have to
Yeah.
look back at nothing. Just retire
And,
and
and,
say goodbye.
and on top of that, he's probably gonna get a 10-year deal for Activision
Five-
Blizzard.
520
I got one
million. He's
too. I got one too, incidentally.
60 years
Let's
old.
make cloud servers, guys.
Yeah. They're
They're
passing those bad boys out right now like they're Oprah. They're like, you get a 10-year deal. You get a 10-year deal. It's amazing. I
It's
love it.
amazing, yeah.
I will stream Call of Duty from my local server.
Well, it's interesting though. It's interesting because, like we said, we had a guest here. I think it was 2 weeks ago, and she was saying the same thing. If it doesn't go through, I have to renegotiate. But like I said, I think Bobby does want to, wanted to go through 520 million, just clean. Like I said, clean, like nothing. Man,
It's getting interesting.
it's getting interesting. Yeah, it's getting interesting. It's
Yeah.
getting interesting.
But
It definitely is getting interesting. That's for sure.
yeah.
So I don't know if what we want to do. If we want to continue, I was going to ask what you guys thought about what would happen with the relationship with PlayStation, because as we know, he wrote an email yesterday or 2 days ago saying that it's not going to affect their long-term relationship. I don't know what you guys think. Any thoughts on this?
That's
Hold
VR
on.
talk.
Call me in, coach.
Okay, silent.
Uh,
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, in situations like this, when the ink isn't dry yet, yeah, of course you're gonna be like, no, this won't affect us. Like, come on. Like, how do you go through this whole thing and not have some resentment as time goes on? Like, I don't care how good a businessman you are, you're going to hold some resentment for this because you've held up the deal. Bobby Kotick has, like you guys were talking about, he has a golden parachute opportunity if this goes through. This is the best opportunity for him to get away from this as, scratch-free as possible. And the longer that goes, I bet you he's probably sitting there kind of sweating it too, because there's enough skeletons we know about now in the closet that have come out, and he's probably sitting there. He's like, "Come on, 500 million, come on, like get me home, travel me to a non-extradited country. Let's do this." So yeah, no, I think that's great that they say that out there while the ink's not dry. I think it means nothing while the ink is not dry.
Yeah. I'm also curious if Lulu is gonna get a good chunk of money. I'm sure she
I-
is. Too.
They all have to get something, right? If they're just let go,
She's got to get something
they all have to
for
get something. Yeah.
ripping a couple people some new. It's been an interesting time with Lulu on social media recently, hasn't it? You figure
She's like Wendy's.
you figure like Phil or someone over on the Microsoft side is like, here's an extra couple Benjamins for your time. Thank you for thanks for making it interesting.
Definitely.
Seriously, I mean, same relationship. No, I mean, I'm telling you something though. I mean, I looked at his salary, Bobby Kotick's salary, and man, trust me, he wants that 520 million. He wants that 520 million to drop. I mean, I would too. And if me as a CEO of a company, I got this company which I have all my years, because this is something that people don't understand. I have all my years talking with you on the phone, making deals with you, putting Call of Duty over there. Not only Call of Duty, they also gave him the privilege with what's his name, Destiny, and all this stuff when Destiny was part of Activision Blizz. Man,
No.
and you come to me and you break me a deal
Okay, yeah.
from losing 520 million. I mean, I would be mad. I mean, I would be outraged. I don't know how seriously, I would change my scenario, just not negotiate with them and go to the other side. Even though they're down, I'll make them go up so I can,
The question is though, can they do that? Like financially, could they actually do that because of the amount of people that play Call of Duty on PlayStation? They would still have to do business with them.
They will,
It could-
yeah. Okay.
Yes, they will. They will.
Well,
But that being said, like, I mean, I guess in a scorched earth scenario, you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, yeah, sure, you can still have a relationship, but
Yep.
I'd argue you could have the same type of relationship as like Atlas has with Microsoft at this point, right? We used to see
Yeah.
stuff from Atlas come into Xbox 360 and Xbox One pretty regularly. And then all of a sudden things went sour. And now you see some stuff here and there. They throw them a bone on occasion. It's getting better. But but there's obviously some resentment from how things went down back in the day with the previous owners. And I would imagine like there's gonna be some resentment. There's gonna be some residual at some point in some way.
Well,
Has to be.
here's the thing though, Silent, because this is what some people don't think about. But PlayStation, not PlayStation, Sony has showed Bobby Kotick how much power he has right now with Call of Duty. So if the deal does not go through, and this is something that people have not sat down and thought about, if Bobby Kotick is going to negotiate with PlayStation, the terms that PlayStation used to have Bobby Kotick is going to get switched around because Bobby Kotick said, "Hey, remember, I'm more important than you. What are you going to give me now to be on your side?" That's what's going to happen. Of course, they're going to make deals because right now Bobby Kotick knows that the Call of Duty is a powerhouse over there in PlayStation. You know, he knows that how badly they want it, how much they want to just keep it over there. He's gonna sit down and say, "Hey, you remember when you used to say, hey, y'all gonna make this much? Well, okay, if you're gonna make $5, I want those $5 back. You're gonna make 10. I'm gonna make 50. That's what they're gonna do. You know, they're gonna pretty much. That's what's gonna happen in those type of negotiations because literally PlayStation showed Bobby Kotick how powerful his game is and that what kind of gem his game is too.
Yeah, and Sony themselves, I mean, in all the responses in their filings to the CMA have literally said that like we won't survive without Call of Duty. They even said one thing where they're like, if this licensing agreement that Microsoft is offering us will make us have to shut down PlayStation Plus, which is like, is this true? If this is not true, then you've built your business in a very odd way where Call of Duty is the only game to holding up that entire pillar. I don't know if I believe that, but
Not just an odd way, but an irresponsible way if that's the way
But-
that they're built.
Yeah.
I understand Sony because they have a different business model. So I know why they are worried. They are not going to spend how many 500 millions to Call of Duty they want on PlayStation Plus. That's not their budget for the services. So they have another business model, and I understand why they are angry with this deal because they play another game. They play with their rules because they buy time exclusives, third exclusive. Why? Because for them are more cheaper than for an Xbox just for the console-based installment. So they play a game and Xbox is trying to play another game with another rules because PlayStation make licensed game with Marvel and all that stuff, MLB, etc. And Xbox wants to own the licenses. Xbox don't pay for the license of other studio. So they're going to play a game. PlayStation is playing another game, and their business model, they see that it's on warning. They have a warning right now, and they are trying to make another things like the PC releases, the live service games that we were waiting to. We haven't seen anyone, but okay, live service games. So I understand Sony. I understand what they say. Obviously, lawyers are lawyers and talk like lawyers, and they have to play their own game. But I understand their strategy. But right now, I was talking that on my podcast on Sunday. I said that if I was a lawyer of Sony, I would call to Microsoft on Monday, and I would say, give me that contract. I'm going to sing it. Why? Because if Microsoft knows now that on UK, on Europe, and all the other jurisdictions are not worried about them. Nobody is protecting Sony, just FTC. So give me that contract and give me the same contract that you were saying, because right now Microsoft hasn't got any obligation about that parity. So give me that contract, give me now. And if you change it, I'm going to the regulator say, hey, they're changing the contract. You see, you can't trust them. So that was my strategy. Sony is lost right now. Sony, I don't know if it could be a problem in FTC if they have more papers, contracts, because they have spent money, they have spent lawyers, they have spent and PR. Their PR are very bad right now, I have to say. Jim Ryan is not in his best moment of popularity right now. And you have serving in a plate your contracts to your rival. So maybe you have to leave FTC in their own political American wars and let's go, give me the contract and we are okay, parity, total parity. Because if not, Microsoft doesn't have any obligation to make that contracts. So Microsoft can make Call of Duty exclusive, can make marketing rights and perks on Game Pass, exclusive content. So in my opinion, if I am Sony, I assume the loss, and I say, okay, give me the contract, and I want to see that is the same contract that you give me the last weeks. So I understand the worry of the Sony, and of course they are not going to pay how much 1 billion, 500 millions to Call of Duty Day One. That have no sense. And for if not, why Microsoft is not paying now Call of Duty Day One on Game Pass? Let's say, Bobby Kotick, how many money do you want to make Call of Duty a Game Pass Day One game? Why not? Because it hasn't got a business sense. If it's your own product, it's different. That's why. So I understand what they are saying.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Sony with the way they done things. Because here's the thing, though, the arguments are I found them a little bit ridiculous. I understand their points, right? I understand, but the argument's a little bit ridiculous. But they should have just stayed on the point, saying, "Okay, we were afraid they're gonna make it exclusive. We got this. We used to make this, and this is how much money we made." And hey, like you said, Microsoft, call Microsoft, send me the contract, let me read through it, and negotiate, because Microsoft is open to negotiations. They always say, "Hey, we're open to negotiate." So if PlayStation wants something, to be changed in that contract, and Microsoft sees it, they're like, "Oh, okay, we can do this with you. We can do that." I think they will openly will change a couple things. Why not? Because again, something that people don't seem to see in this console war thing. Microsoft did look at those numbers. I mean, they open up the books to look at the numbers. They know how much Call of Duty is selling everywhere. Now, if Call of Duty wasn't a big sale, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now. We would have been having, Call of Duty only exclusive to Xbox. But they know how much it sells, and they want to come back with that money. What are they going to do? Of course, they're going to offer them deals. They're going to offer them contracts, because they want to recuperate that money. It's $70 billion. It's going to take them a long time to recuperate. But hey, they want to recuperate. So what's wrong with that? So Sony, should call and say, let me receive the contract, take a look at it. They got to do that. Sooner or later, they have to do that.
Yeah, but as Lulu said, they don't want a Call of Duty deal. They just want to block the merger.
Yeah,
Twitter.
that's
that's back to your point about being.
At the end of the day, they know that Call of Duty isn't going to be exclusive. They know.
Yeah.
It has no sense. So they know and they want to block the deal. That's why my objective is block the deal. Which points are weaker from this deal? Call of Duty, okay, we go. That's the strategy. That's just that, a strategy.
Yeah, but on the plus side, though, guys, and this is something that I say, and it's the truth. I'm glad that Sony, in some sort, put the CMA and everybody's attention to this, because again, we don't want none of these companies to disappear. We do not want a power company on top of everybody. No one wants that, because once somebody becomes real powerful, then what are we gonna do? How are we gonna entertain? It's gonna be messy, because then prices will go high, consoles will go high. So as long as there's competition, everything is good. And like
but
I
they
said,
are worried about the competition.
oh yeah, I know they
yes,
are.
it's easy. If Call of Duty they want to Game Pass. A lot of people. I'm not going to say that all the people are going to sell their PS5, are going running to buy an Xbox, because Call of Duty is on PlayStation. But the people can make the choice that Xbox is their principal system.
Yep.
What does mean? They are going to buy Hogwarts Legacy on Xbox. Maybe they are going to buy Elden Ring on Xbox. Maybe they are going to buy Diablo or Alan Wake or whatever. Because the business on Xbox and on Sony right now are the 30% of the third party games, not the exclusive or first party. The first party is like the attraction, and you can come into my market and here, welcome, this is my market, buy whatever you want. But you come to my market because I have Starfield. You come to my market because I have Spider-Man. And Sony is worried because a lot of people right now has multiple consoles. You have a Nintendo, but come here. Why Nintendo? They sell a lot of console, they sell a lot of exclusive. Why Nintendo doesn't earn more money than Sony or Microsoft? Why? Just that. Third party don't sell on Nintendo. That's why. And Sony is worried because the people come to Xbox making their principal system, because right now a lot of people has an Xbox Series X, like a second console for playing Game Pass machine, just that. And they are worried because, oh, Xbox, Call of Duty with my friends here, Game Pass perks, my principal console, let's go. Now I'm going to buy my FIFA and my Ultimate Team packs or my NBA 2K Dynasty packs on Xbox, my Call of Duty skins on Xbox, because Game Pass is not the business. The business is all behind of Game Pass. Game Pass is we say in Spanish, the el gancho. I don't know how to say in the hook. So you came here, okay, you pay right now. That's the difference, and that's why I always say that it's a mistake compare Game Pass to Netflix. Because in Netflix, you pay your monthly tax and just that. On Xbox, you pay your monthly tax and then you start to buy. You have more things to spend your money. On Netflix, on Disney Plus, or HBO, you don't spend money. And that's the worry of Sony, just that. More principal systems of Xbox. Just that, in my opinion.
I get you. Because I know. Because if Sony would have come with the same business model, I mean, and if they could though, because that's another thing though, Sony had that money to sit down and compete, then things would change. Which we just have to wait and see what are they going to do if finally this deal goes through, finally gets closed, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, because Sony has got a long way to go. They got a long way to go. Not like how Xbox, Xbox is. If you compare the way Xbox is moving and Sony, Xbox is a little bit farther than, not a little bit, but farther than Sony on the service side of things. But yeah, we have to see what Sony will do. We have to see. It's going to be interesting.
Pretty interesting. I've been muted for like the last I don't know how much, and I've been trying to hop in. But anyway, guys, I just gotta say, it's been an awesome time, amazing time. But Todd Howard's actually looking at me. He's like, you gotta watch the Starfield trailer again. So I think it's time to end the show. I would love to keep going, but we actually went over the time. And Ecstasy, thank you so much for coming. I hope we can have you in the future. It's been an amazing time.
Whenever.
Time to land the plane.
Time to land the plane. Let me take the controllers. Let's go. Well. It's been an awesome episode, man. 60 people in the chat, man. This has been amazing. Guys, thank you so much for coming and joining the show. It's been a lot of fun. Ecstasies, brother, thank you for being with us today. It was a lot of cool stuff, man. I love the train of thought. I love that you're also a person that had a feeling about the deal and came out and sort of express yourself about the deal, because really everywhere I go, everybody's it's going to go through. I always love to find someone who says and starts tumbling down. And says,
I always say the same. Some people in this Spanish community try to argue me because you are very negative. You are not a real Xboxer because you are very negative, and say I'm saying that this is going through because this is going through. And and try to analyze, read, and say, okay, this is happening because blah blah blah. This is happening because blah 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 blah. And everyone in the world can say this. What is happening is more tough than Microsoft thought at the first time when they make the deal. Of course, this is this is being more hard than everyone thought that. Okay, you can give your opinion that this is going through. You think that, but I try to say I think this is going through or not going through because of ta 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 ta. And that's the difference. But we have a lot of fights on the Spanish community because no, you're saying that this is not going through. You're saying that this is going through. And they say, why? I'm trying to explain. Yeah, my job in the Spanish community was explain the process, and I think that a lot of people have learned a lot of concepts and how this is work, and that's why I make this. Just that.
Yeah, real quick, I want to add. You guys think the English community is toxic? The Spanish community is even more toxic.
No,
unfortunately.
yeah.
And I have seen Ecstasy being attacked because he gives his opinion, and at the end of the day, it's his opinion of what he's analyzing, and I'm happy that there's people like him that actually they don't say the deal's going through because it's going through because I like this platform. No, we want people to give their opinion and speak out what they think. So it's great.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, and then I love that happened today again. Super awesome ecstasies. Thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you,
show,
bro.
bro. And please tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter, Ecstasis TV with an one, not an A. And in YouTube, the same, Ecstasis, like you said here. Ecstasis, you can find my YouTube channel. That are only my two social media. I deleted Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff because I have enough. My girlfriend always say, you don't have Instagram, I can tag you. But
Oh my god,
I don't want more socials.
Ecstasies, we gotta talk about that because I had the same issue with me. You gotta get into it. I'm like, I don't want any more social.
No, please.
Oh, please, yeah. No. But man, thank you again. Thank you really for coming on the show. Mr. Big Plume, please, brother, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, first of all, Ecstasies, thank you. It was really awesome to hear your insight on the deal and stuff. It was very interesting, your thoughts on everything. So that was awesome to hear. Thank you for coming on. And I think I've used your leaks or your fake insider stuff or whatever it was in some of my videos before. I'm just realizing that. So that's pretty funny. But keep giving those leaks so I can keep making videos. But you can find me at Plume Network on YouTube, Twitter. Those are the two main spots. I also have Facebook and Instagram, but YouTube and Twitter, two main spots, Plume Network.
All right. And our awesome, beautiful, sexy voice captain, please tell everybody where they can find you, brother.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll be able to find me in more places now, because obviously I'm back. I'm back in the social medias. I'm tooling around here and there. I'm hoping to jump back into TikTok and start doing some stuff because I feel like I've been very absent. And obviously on this show as well. You guys can catch me on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Ecstasies, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us.
Bro.
And if it makes you feel any better, don't worry. Like, people give me grief all the time for being negative also. I'm like the old man of the podcast. I'm always getting grief for it. So
Don't worry.
you're not alone.
I felt like home with all of us, and a pleasure to. I knew Sourblow, but a pleasure to meet Crazy Lui and Plume, of course, and an honor to have been shouted on your channel, and of course, Alien Cypher. I love your voice, guy. Your voice.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm hopefully I'll get to do some fun stuff with it soon.
Can you do the Master Chief real quick?
Oh God. What do you want me to say?
Anything. I need a weapon.
I need a weapon.
There you go.
There you go.
I can pull a couple of them out. I'm recovered finally. We're good now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Anyways, Sourblow, my dear brother, tell everybody where they can find you, and please take off that Celtics hat because Celtics suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Celtics champ, man. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter, Sourblow18, same in Xbox. And of course, you can find me here, every Wednesday. Also, don't forget, our podcasts go on Spotify every Saturday. So by Saturday, this podcast would be going on Spotify at XBI Podcast.
All right. And last but not least, oh man,
Oh,
where can you find the crazy one? Super easy. You can find me at Twitter at Crazy Louis Gaming, where I say good morning and do all sorts of crazy stuff. Man, oh man. And also, you can find me at Mondays at noon at Xbox Lunch Break Special, the Double Barrel Gaming YouTube channel with Mr. Boomstick, Fuzzy Belvedere, Mr. Web Dave, and also I started a new project which is called Playing with Crazy, which is gonna be on Tuesdays, where I play scary games for everybody to come see me enjoy watching me throw the microphone. Yeah, what else do I do, Saulo? Because you watch me, you laugh your pants off every time. I do all sorts of stuff because really, when I play those scary games and jump out, man, really, they just,
he
oh
throws
my
the
God.
headset, he leaves.
I leave, man. Seriously, yeah. I'm telling you, you guys got to come watch me. It's super funny. And last but not least, here on Wednesdays with my brother, Silent Cypher, Sourblow, Mr. Big Plume on the Xbox International Podcast at 7 p.m. ET. So, guys, like I always say, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that bell so it can tell you when XBI content goes on. And remember, let's go, let's rock, and let's get crazy. Yes, see you all next Wednesday. Bye bye.
All right, outro's play.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at our destination. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off this live stream. On behalf of Xbox International, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you aboard next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.